Good morning, good morning. I hope you guys are doing well. Emma, thank you for reminding me. Banang. Good morning, Abe. Good morning, Martha. I almost forgot. Yeah, but I'm here now. They don't have a day in both. Today it was thoughts. It was a little bit into it. But I am here. That's a very nice view you have, guys. Not so. Very nice view. So today we're going to be talking about valuable versus overpriced, and this applies across life. This applies across everything. There are things that are really valuable, yet they don't hold the price that they should be holding, and yet there are those things that are overpriced, and overpriced basically means they don't hold the value that they should hold. For the feed them then chibadde kirambadde manyi kifudde kiikyo kigenda for this explorer manyi kifudde. My arm feels better. You should do it again today. Even the leg. Good morning, Krista Vinci. I hope you're doing well. Today we are talking about the long debated thing. Good morning, Hanifa Mansour. I hope you're doing well. So we are going to try and understand what is the overpriced car, what is the most valuable car, because some cars are really underrated. Some cars are really underrated. You see those two cars there? Is a Uganda. There is a RAV4 and there is that new one. That's the Rotura. Those two cars are underrated. They are really underrated. There is a time when I thought the RAV4 was overpriced, but after buying the RAV4 last week or the week before that? After buying the RAV4 the last time we helped someone buy a car, I realized that actually RAV4s are underrated. RAV4s are they are very comfy. First of all, they are too comfy for life, especially if you find one that is in very good condition. Like the RAV4 we bought was intact. The AC worked. It was manual. I mean, manual is like something I really love. So this RAV4 was, I find that RAV4 was underrated. There is a time when I thought that RAV4s were really overpriced, but apparently when looking at the cars that are overpriced now and the kind of value that they give us, I find that the RAV4s are underrated. The newer Roturas now, their price has gone a little down, but I find that even they are underrated. The newer Roturas have only one problem: their brakes. Brakes is also popular. Even the RAV4s, by the way. When someone is working on the brakes, the timing of the brakes is not something that that someone should think, trouble is I can't reply to his message now. Good morning, Setuba Henry. Good morning, Atumanya Rupat. So today we're going to talk about, and I want us to try and understand the concept of overpriced, the concept of valuable, and the moment I think the moment you learn to differentiate these two concepts, then you can start buying right. There are people that believe that buying something that is expensive means you have bought something that is nice, right? It's not. Sometimes it applies, but it's not always the case. So this is the time that we need to learn to differentiate these two concepts. The concept of overprice, versus the concept of what do we do? There are other cars there. Yeah. Jaguar. So it's the moment you fail to understand those two concepts, then you keep buying poorly. You keep buying poorly. Like this example that I keep giving you, that's like the best example for you. The example of someone that we found in Machindi, they're going to sell to him the raffle at 16. It's supposed to be 9. Actually, the raffle they were selling to him at 16 was supposed to be 8 because it was in worse condition than the one we got him at 9. So I find that the moment you understand the concept, so many people still believe that the raffle is too expensive. You get it? It's not too expensive. Actually, they were selling to him a raffle UAH. You get it? So he got him a UAK in better condition than the UAH at 9. The raffle we bought the other week was a UAQ, manual, perfect condition. I would say perfect because compared to the other raffles that were in the same price range, this raffle was unbeatable. Good morning, Arthur. I have a question about the Harrier and Surf. Which one is the best and why? Thanks. Now, one thing you need to understand is Surf. The Surf, okuja konga you're going to buy the new model. The old model will disturb you. Why? Because okuja konga uguze petrol, but petrol will consume a lot of fuel. It will cost you a lot in terms of fuel. But diesel will cost you a lot in terms of maintenance. Diesel cars are babede. Diesel cars are for babede. You see, even the guys that are buying drones, if you can buy the drone that has a petrol engine, it's better than the drone that has a diesel engine, because the drone that has a petrol engine shares the engine with the Ronaldo. You know that Land Cruiser, the Ronaldo. Yeah. So it would basically give you better value for your money. Under these circumstances, it depends what you're going to use the car for. If you're going to use the car for some commercial work, instead of buying the Hilux Surf, I would actually buy the Hilux. That Hilux in front of us, the double cabin. It might give you better value for your money than the Hilux Surf. You get, because if you get a double cabin, you're still getting the same things like the Surf, because the Surf is literally the double cabin, but the double cabin is a workhorse. The Surf is cheaper because the Surf has less value than the double cabin. Now, if you're going to be using this car for luxury, buy the Harrier. But one thing you need to understand, okay, now, is it the Harrier old model or the Harrier Kaundo? If the Harrier Kaundo take on a minimum yard. But the Harrier old model, so yes. What? Which one? Where? Yeah, that one is a double cabin. So firstborn, I think I'm a little clear. The Surf is high on maintenance, the Harrier is low on maintenance. Which together. And also depending on what you want to use the car for, the Surf might serve you better than the Harrier. Which together. Then you have to do the math and see the maintenance cost versus the kind of work that it's going to do. And if the work it's going to do is really hard, then I would actually recommend you buy the double cabin. Which together. But I would actually recommend you buy the Kaundo. If the Kaundo, you get a Harrier old model, still could Harrier old model works better than the Surf. Which together. Kakati goyagala kunyiga bunyizi. Derije muino vugira. Mulabe ebirevu. Boda guys, anonya wanyigira. Nti wansudde. Ye kukotiriza. So, but at firstborn, I'm thinking I'm a little clear. If it's swag, Harrier is better. If it's work, the Hilux, the Surf is better. But instead of buying the Hilux Surf, if it's going to be really work, I would buy the Hilux double cabin. You can get the double cabin; they are comfortable. That's a Hilux double cabin. Then a Ford. So depending on what you want to use it for. Surf swagger, but unless you're buying the newer models, the old models expense on maintenance is a little high. because ojja kisanga bagikuttekuttemu mu engine okujja ng'ogigula ya rayisi nnyo n'ogigula n'omanya nti the engine is dead. I'm going to either overhaul this engine or buy a new engine. And the older models of the surf are not as comfortable as the new models. So now depending on what you need. Arthur, second generation. Arthur, newer second generation Ugandans used the price very low. US series on Facebook, it's between 12 to 16 million. What's the reason behind this? Because there's a new new model which will give you much more value for your money. Why? Because the new models have a VVTi engine. It means they consume less fuel. They are much more comfortable. They look more sexier, yet they are also not too overpriced. You can get a newer old model at around 25, 26. You get it. So there is an alternative. So it doesn't make sense to overprice the old model when the new model exists. But I find that the old model is stronger than the new model. You see, these car manufacturers, as they make newer cars, they now concentrate on fuel efficiency other than can I say durability, other than performance. Yes, you still get performance, but the performance is the newer. You see the newer old model, that one in front of us. That newer doesn't give you as strong performance as the newer old model. Which take it. Also, the newer old model is a workhorse. It's model coach. I'm getting a little closer. It's very comfortable. It looks sexy and all, but if Salman is buying a newer for his farm, we tell him to buy the newer old model, because the newer old model is a workhorse. Ogitika n'ogikubya ebinya ebiti ne bigikuba teyina kyeba. But that new model, nga bwe batera okugamba nti kipapula, you may find that it's a kipapula nti si bigumu, the bumpers bichi. Also the newer old model is a little more raised than the new model. So these guys are looking for fuel efficiency, and by doing that they lose some of those things that we need as Africans. They lose the kind of wackiness that the old model cars used to have. You see, even these Hilux, the new models, the people that buy them, but find the old model, you start Voxing, now it's the same ground clearance like the new model. And tebiba bimodoka byakora nnyo mirimu. So those new model cars, because the Japanese, they have cars specifically made for every type of work. If it's going to be delivery of farm products, they have the lorries, the elves that have box bodies. Those are made to deliver work. They are made to deliver food from the farm to the market and all. Now, these vans, the new ones that for us we use here at the farm, the workhorse. So when it comes to people delivering people, the vans are specifically made to transport people, not things. They use it to transport farm products. So you don't buy a newer 2010 model and expect to use it as a workhorse. There you would rather buy even the double cabins. By the way, these Japanese, when they're making their cars, or these Germans when they're making their cars, they make cars specifically for certain kinds of work. That's why you have the VW Amarok. That's specifically to do their hard work, deliver farm products and all. And then you have the Turag. The Turag is specifically for corporate office work. Omuntu ajja kwagala okugula that VW Turag agikozesa agivuge ng'agende ku farm Yet the guys that actually made the VW to rag, they made it for city moving. So they made it for city moving where there is not so much moisture, not so much dust and all. So the newer, the second generation is priced lower because we have alternatives that can be priced higher nowadays. And we assume they give higher value. Arthur, you have never talked about Toyota Gaia. That ugly thing. You see the Gaia looks like it was made in a hurry. Like the bosses were coming. They had told these guys make a car a month ago, and these guys were playing. So now they get to know that the bosses are coming an hour before the bosses come. So they have to make a car very quickly, and they make the Gaia. The guy is as ugly this Subaru Exiga. The Subaru Exiga is also very ugly. And there's someone that was asking about the Subaru Exiga. Like, how do you want to drive a Subaru Exiga? How ugly it looks. My God, that thing looks ugly. But the Gaia is in its own class of ugliness. The Gaia is the same car as the Ipsum. So basically, Gaia Ipsum are the same cars. It's just that the Gaia is ugly. You get it? Gaia versus Wish on our topic today. Leave the Gaia alone. Gaia need that. The Gaia is the Ipsum. So when I talk about the Ipsum, just know I'm talking about the Gaia. It's just the Gaia is ugly. So I would compare to the Wish definitely beats the Gaia. When we talk about overpriced versus value. Now, value, we are going to define it in its own sense, and then price, we are going to define it in its own sense, because there are things that we think that they are overpriced. They are just expensive for us because we don't have the money. There's also that thing. You think something is overpriced, and then there are things that we think are of value simply because we have never had them. There are things that we think are valuable, but we think they're valuable because we don't know anything more valuable than them. I don't know if I make sense. Please share about the drone versus the super custom. I don't think you should compare the drone to the super custom. That's a very bad comparison. The super custom is a swag car. The drone is a commercial car. That's the difference. So you're comparing two very so each of the cars can either be as valuable or as overpriced depending on what you want to use the car for. I don't know if I make sense. Yeah. So but the drone versus the super custom, I find that that's not a fair comparison. You're being unfair to the super custom. First of all, the drone is comfortable, and there's actually a version of a drone that is much more comfortable than the super custom. It's just that it's a little higher priced. It's as comfortable as a super custom, but does harder work than the super custom. You get so Edwin, man, I saw 0 mileage Suzuki in Uganda are cheaper than Toyota. Yeah, and if you're buying 0 mileage, kati emotoka 0 mileage egenda kufaddi. Olabanze envuga Corolla yange 2 gumu eriko kilometer kati mmeka. It has 259,728 kilometers on the clock, yet it's still valuable. It's still, it's still reliable. Just imagine someone that is buying a 0 mileage car. At 0 mileage, even Kia should be good, but it's not. Hey Nana, what's up? Wake him up. Tell him to wake up. Touch him. So we're tackling the concept of valuable versus overpriced. Now let's first define what is valuable. What is valuable to me might not be valuable to you. Which take it. What valuable means something that I take to be very important to me. Which take it. And something that gives me what I think is important becomes valuable to me. I don't know if I make sense. Anything that gives me what I need or what I want becomes valuable to me, and something that doesn't give me what I need or what I want becomes unvaluable to me or less valuable to me. For example, there are African men that value that value a woman that can have as many kids as possible. So to these African men, a woman that can give them 10 kids is valuable. You get a woman that can give them 10 kids in their lifetime is more valuable than a woman that can give them only 2 kids. I don't know if I make sense. And then there are men like me that for a woman to be valuable to me, it's not about kids. It's about them making life easier for me, not giving me stress, and working with me to make sure that we build a future for our kids, because, well, right? So valuable to me is not the same definition of valuable to another man. There are men that think a woman is as valuable as their nyash. There are men that think that a woman is as valuable as their face value, beauty here. There are men that think that a woman is as valuable as their family background. I don't know if I make sense. So there are men that would get as much stuff to go to a Kwanjura to Kwanjura, a woman that comes from a family that is prominent. And then there are men that would take as many things for a woman that can have as many kids for them. So for them, that's value. Now, in terms of cars, value is what the car will give you. Value is what the car can do for you. Value is what you can use the car for. Value is what you take to be important out of the car for you. That's value. Now, it's important before you think that, oh, the Primo is valuable according to Arthur. You have to think to yourself, okay, what is valuable to me? What do I take to be important? Normally we tell you people, there is someone for them. The value is in fuel efficiency. Now a person like that one agenda guleka pasoke yeyagali. Because for them it's about the fuel, and they travel alone. For a person, if you're going to be traveling with 3 other people, the person might not give you the fuel efficiency you desire. And under those circumstances, you'll find that the Sienta can give you, or the Paso Sete can give you better or the same mileage as the Paso, the small Paso. So under those circumstances, when you value fuel and yet you travel a lot of people, it can never give me the fuel efficiency I desire. Why? First of all, when I leave home late, I am very fast. Second, I travel with my family majority of the time. Third, when I go to help people buy cars, sometimes the motor can broken. I already have a mechanic. I have the person that is buying a car. So under those circumstances, the person for me is not valuable. So and you need to understand that when I'm telling you which cars are valuable, which cars are not valuable, I'm telling you mostly according to my experience. So it's valuable to you might not be valuable to me. And you see, as Hanifa has said, she's talking about the guy. Probably she has seen it somewhere and she thinks the guy is important. The guy is valuable. Personally, for me, the guy is ugly. Instead of buying the guy, buy the Ipsam. The Ipsam is really beautiful. I'm actually looking at the Ipsam right now. It's just past me. It's black. The Ipsam Super. The Ipsam is black. So good morning Joshua. Sonko made, is it possible to get a used Harrier at 9 million? Yes, you can, but at 9 million it will probably be a 3000cc, and that's quite some fuel. This is a Benz. Yeah. Benz edita bana kusomera. Bijomba laba mu progress. Nkole nnyo. Dynamo tukole nnyo. So the old model Harrier you can get, but it will be a 3000cc model. Good morning, Council Patrick Asiku. Royonga Marvin, good morning. Edwin, so you mean Ford is a woman with nyash but zero brain? Thank you.
Look at my stomach.
Ah, nice.
Daddy,
So Ford and some of those other cars.
Daddy,
Yes.
what's my stomach?
Nice. Ford and some of those other cars, they are cars that have nyash or they are brown but no brains. Which take Arthur, can you advise a starter to buy a Toyota Kluger? Yeah, the Toyota Kluger is okay. Toyota Kluger is okay, but you just have to buy a 2.4cc, 2,400cc, as JK would say. 2.4 liter. Yeah.
Mommy, she's going to let buy her like a black man's hair.
You saw the black man with the hair, with that hair. Yeah. So, after compare RAV4 to Vanguard, depends on what you want. And how much money you have. The Vanguard is definitely more expensive than the RAV4, depending of course on the models. You can't compare a more advanced model to a lower model of a Vanguard. Of course, the more advanced model of the RAV4 would be more expensive than the Vanguard. I also find that some Vanguards have 7 seats, which take it, and it's almost like a van. But then there are some Vanguards that don't have. So it depends on what you want to use the car for. So, but the Vanguard and the RAV4 are literally the same car. Of course, the Vanguard and the RAV4s that came at the same time, they all have 2.4 liter engines. So they are basically they are all good cars. I hate the Passo. Toyota Alex and Toyota IST. I have to choose one. I would choose the Alex. The IST is just overpriced. Of course, even the Alex is overpriced, but the IST, come on. The Alex is better. I actually saw someone in my TikTok. The lady commented. She said she bought the Alex at 23 million 3 years ago. Of course, then the cars were still cheap. She sold it this year at 20 million after driving it for 3 years. Now I'm imagining she handled it properly. She handled it very well. But also now the cars are too overpriced. That's normally what I'm telling you. You people, you can imagine you buy a car that is 3 years old at 20 million. Yet at 25 you can go and get a Kanoje and Kida. At 25 you can go and get like a Vitz, the new model, 1.3cc from the Bond, and you'll be okay. You get it. But someone decides to buy an older car at 20 million. Of course, it might be that it's the budget you have, but I have 15 million. Yep.
Have a nice day.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Bye. I have 15 million between new models, Passio and Wish. Which one can you advise in terms of resale value? Now Hanifa, 15 million. Both those cars won't be in good condition. Okay, you can get the Passio US series. You can also get the Wish US series. Resale value, if you're only I don't want you to buy a car when you're only focusing on resale value. No. I want you to buy a car. I know we are talking about value, but you should never buy a car based on resale value, because if you buy a car based on resale value, obanga asubula. Ochitegera. Obanga asubula. No. 15 million. What are you going to use the car for starters? Because now I know we want to look at resale value, but I also think we should also look at the use of the car. Are you just going to buy a car to sell it again, or are you going to buy a car to use it for something? Spare price. The Kluger is okay. The Kluger shares spares, some spares with the Harrier Kawundo. But again, if you're going to be driving properly, the Kluger is a good car. The only reason I'm not driving those cars is because I cannot afford them with fuel. You know, normally buying a car is not really the problem. Keeping it on the road is the problem. My workmate bought a Raul new model UBB at 18.5. Sagala teka yo byange Edwin nainga ndabanga gwe bakubye mu Karawu mako. Of course yaguze number. But you know the Raumi is not that bad a car. It's not really that bad a car. Waba yaguzenga, it's in good condition. I want to imagine that the value is there. I want to imagine that the value is there. I want to imagine the value is there. So value versus overpriced. We have already talked about the value. The value, for you to understand that something is valuable, it has to serve you. It has to serve you. It has to serve the purpose that you value. Okitegeera ngera bwe twogedde ku mukazi nti a woman that serves the purpose for which you want her for is valuable to you. Okitegeera and a woman that doesn't is less valuable. Okitegeera. That's why we end up like a guy can have like 4 girlfriends. The one they have picked is the one that has more value. Now let's talk about Overpriced. Overpriced is a slay queen. Overpriced is a slay queen from Nigeria. The slay queen, you spend a lot of money on her, but in terms of value, what does she give you back? So you end up calculating and you get very little value out of her. So that's overpriced. The reason why I normally tell you guys that the IST is overpriced is because I ask you, apart from driving yourself, what other thing do you get out of the IST that you're going to buy at 35 million? You get, first of all, you're going to park, let's say you're going to have like important meetings and you park the IST, and I come and I park my car window that I bought 35 million. I buy my car window 35 million and it's an like UBA or UBG or something, and you buy your IST at UBK 35 million. We both park the cars. In terms of business, which person is looked at as someone that has more money or someone that has made more money? Because normally when people are giving us business deals, they are thinking of 2 things. Ono guy yali akuteku sente zendi mumuwe sawe eno, oba ono guy sente zemuwa anasobola okuzimanaging a business neguka. You get eh? So I'm thinking to myself when I'm thinking when I'm contemplating which one will give me more value in terms of work, business building and networking and all. That's why normally I be talking about the IST and the Alex and the Auris and Alex. Those cars are kinda overpriced. Eh? They are kinda overpriced. Why? Because when I look at the kind of value they give me back, I find that the only value I get is that I'm driving a car that everybody knows is highly priced. Apart from the comfort, I've realized that I can get comfort from every car. Zenga Arthur. I used to have dream cars. I used to dream of the super custom. Then there's a time I wanted the surf. Now I don't think you can get me dreaming about any car. Why? Because my son says because when he does something wrong and you keep asking him, Arthur, why do you? I don't take the IST. I actually find that it's a very cool car. It's a very cool car, but it's overpriced. It's a fact. It's totally overpriced. 35 million for that thing, man. Right? Gideon. Even me, there are people that tell me I'm obsessed over my Corolla. And I totally understand that according to them, the Corolla is not as valuable. It's not as valuable as it is to me. Some people, someone has come and parked at the shop as a gorillas and no subitan. Katukoze wano jam because someone is buying gorillas of 500 shillings. Ebintu abazadde aba planning nga tubigulira abazadde ku weekend n'ogula kipaaka kimu nga kya week number. That's what I do for my kids. Niyo aparkinze motoka aparkinze neri Alex very overpriced car agiparkinze gula goliro za 5 ate bwe yeronda bwazizayo zino sizagala njagala za chili and you people Ranex. I find that those cars are really overpriced. Okitegeera nze ndaba bamuyisaamu cause he had put n'ogula motoka ya $18,000 n'ekitundu karawumu moreover n'okasaamu shokonya bamuyisaamu, but it's okay. It's okay. Kasita yabanga alaba value mweri ekyo kyesonyiwa kati I'm learning to kind of let people be cheated. They deserve it. Kati omuntu watajjawa Arthur katufaka kamoto katuyinza oba twali kafunye ku million nga 15 karawum. I find that sometimes people are unfair to compare the Spacio to the Raum. Do you know why? Because the Spacio first of all has 7 seats. Okay, that alone makes it a car in its own league. The Spacio never has troubles those troubles that can't be ignored, like a door that gets faulty and all. Then the Spatio has a higher demand in the market than the Raum. So there is higher resale value with the Spatio than with the Raum. There is a higher resale value. So I find that the comparison is normally not okay. So someone will tell you, Spatio, but the Spatio has more value than the Raum. There are so many things that give it value. For a person that has a bigger family, ngenda wano itawo. Njagala kugula bundazi, ngenda mu meeting, ngenda n'obundazi, abantu bange bangamba babuba woomera nnyo. So I have to buy them. Kati mama bw'otampa nnyongeza ng'obaaki. Ondabye olwensose ne mpakinga ne wali. Bulungi. Buli mpa bwa ssatu. Kambulinde, lindako, mugateko buno. Kati kolanga buwera. Kale. Kambulinda abantu bange babwagala nnyo. Nzizereti wabula. Ozereti naye tofayo tukyali. So variable is something that serves your purpose. Okay, let's look at price. There is something that we call a price. A price is something that a person that is selling deems fit to sell their products or service. And in terms of cars, some of the cars, the prices are actually dictated by the traders, by the manufacturers and all. For example, a new starlet at Toyota Uganda is 70 million. That's something we cannot do anything about. It's 70 million. The new Wish Valvematic in the bone is about 38, I think, right now. Go to all bonds, and if you find one that is cheap, it will be about 37. That's just how it is. The market price has been dictated. You can save $1 million or something, but there are cars that prices should not be dictated. Cars that have already been on Ugandan roads, the prices should not be dictated. Why am I saying that? It's because Emoroka etambuddeko ku luguudo lwe Uganda, the conditions are totally different. There are people that drive properly, there are people that drive poorly. There are people that maintain their cars properly, there are people that don't maintain their cars properly. There are people that can wash, there are people that cannot wash. Because there are times that we went to buy a car and we realized that the car wasn't actually in bad condition, it was just unwashed. Like you see the RAV4 we bought, it was in too good condition. Right now bakugambe ginonye moroka eyo ku million 15 but wajura 14 kitundu. Bakugambe ginonye ku million 15 and you may not find it. Because twajigula 14 kitundu, the next door musubuzi yali ajigula 15 bonga atongeddemu emitwalo 5. Kitegeeza yeye agenda gitunanga 17 ku 18. Because traders don't buy cars where they're not eating 2 million. So the prices, it's important for us to understand what price it should be. What price should be for a certain car. And why that price should be that way. I don't know if I make sense. Majority of the times when you buy a car, and it doesn't matter what car you're buying, majority of the time when you buy a car, you may find yourself that you have to replace at least 2 shocks, either the front shocks or the rear shocks. And there are cars that you have to be sure you replace shocks. A car like the Raum, for example, akakamoto kisoka kali wansi. Then those Raums, majority of them have done Uber, especially the new ones. Majority of them have done Uber, because most of these guys that buy those Raums, they buy them, so they put them to do Uber. So katemboroka ekozeko Uber bisede ebisinga, you find that all the shocks are bad. On top of that, on top of the shocks, is a moroka zitomera. Tebatomera nti batomere bonoone moroka, batomera nnyo moroka ezibali maaso, batomera nnyo ababoda, okitegeera. So you actually have to inspect the front. Baba kaita batya kaka. You have to inspect it to make sure that tandabikira kumanya mulo kamutereerezemu muviiridde naye era asitamulinga. So I don't know if I make sense. Arthur, I lately have thoughts of a RAV 4 2011 just for the ground clearance. You should. I find that car will be much more valuable, much more worth your money than the IST Gideon. You could afford the IST at 35. Why did you just go and buy a RAV 4? So go now. You go for passion. The RAV 4 would be worth the money. I find that it will be worth the money. Now, yeah. When you butajifuna kwezo center atera. Okoze makeup. This is 3,000, right? Yeah. Katikola yo 2,111 nsumbi. Antulanga abera mu meetings zange beyagala. Ayo lagena ali abindazi byassa. Giving them bateka mwaka cent. Take a marker cent kati. Kola big on breakfast like the one on at Cafe Java's. Do big on breakfast. Neje tutono na cent. Nayo taddemu ennyongeza. Agirete. Nga sigiraba mbaze wano tebuwera tebuyitamu. Mbubaze funa engeri gy'oginyigawo naawo. So, good morning Gaetano. So, we know what's valuable. Now, I'm going to try and we know what's overpriced. Overpriced is anything that goes beyond the price that it should be costing. Which take it like the room that we are talking about right now. Ndabanga bamukubyemukko. But it's okay. Ebiseera emu omuntu bamubba naye nga bw'aba tamanyi nti bamubbye tekiyinza kumuluma. Okitegeera. Kati omuntu amanyi nti bamubbye gwe kiruma, atamanyi nti bamubbye tekimuluma. And whenever someone tells you kino ekintu kikostinga sente bweziti, you should ask yourself, probably ask around in the market, something that is of a similar condition, that looks similar, how much should it cost? Okitegeera. Then awutandikirawo n'otandika okumanya ebbeeyi entuufu n'omanya oba bagenda kubba oba tebagenda kubba. Kati oli gwe baali baguza RAV4 ku million 16 nga ya mwenda. I did not brokers baamugulira ne chai by the way baamutuuzaawo n'abagamba ninda makanika wange bo nga bakimanyi nti agenda okukebera emmotoka eyo bwajja ne bamuwa akakadde basigala bakoze miliyoni nga 5. Okitegeera. Ne bamutuuzaawo ne bamugulira chai ne bamugulira ekyenkya. Kugamba kuli kwali kweyagala. When we got there, the guy was actually telling us, yeah, these guys have treated me nice. Otademu? The guy, the guy was actually telling us, these guys have treated me nicely. They have given me breakfast, and my friend Bali Babidi Baba wane breakfast. Why? Because they were losing nothing. So sometimes it happens like that. I've also told you about my relative that had bought a Nissan at 20 million, which was supposed to cost 10. Because of the condition of the car. The car, he had to respray the car, he had to buy all 4 tires for the car, he had to fix the wiring of the car, the interior, he had to fix the interior, and later on the engine also consumes oil. So kwegamba yagula chi. The car had nothing good about it. The broker that helped him find that car, who was actually his friend, and it happens. Brokers do that literally all the time. Thanks for always sharing vital info. Amina. So valuable versus overpriced. If you're a kind of person that has a small family like me, and you have a family that you don't expect to grow, I don't expect my family to grow beyond what it is now. Like we were talking with Emma sent me something on WhatsApp yesterday. She sent me a text that is showing that men that have had many kids don't have lived longer than men that had only 2 kids, which I know which I know that was fictional, but in a way it could make sense. Men that have more kids have more labor, especially in the past. In the past, the more kids you had, the more wealth you had. What do I mean? In the past, like in the 80s and 70s, the more kids you had, the more labor you had for your farms, which means the more crops you would harvest, means the more money you would make through selling those crops. And then you could buy more land, become become richer and wealthier. But today, the more kids you have, the more diseases you have. Why am I saying so? It's simply because if you have more kids today, you spend more, you don't make more. You just spend more money. You don't make more money. You don't get more crops on your farms, no. You don't get more kids to build houses for you because enyumba zedda tezabanga mu specialty. Zabanga za mabanda nga basimba amabanda ne bakubako ettaka. So it means even a kid of 5 would help building a house. These days, you have to pay builders. And the builder and the porter nowadays cost like 40k. Nze wange oyinza oba osobola ofuna wala is 25. It depends on what they are doing. Kati nze abange mbakozesa nnyo. Okitegeera. Sibasaasira era lwe banziba nkiraba nti banzibye naye nensirika olumu n'okireka because oyagala bakolere ewaddako n'oga nange n'abaako gwenziba okitegeera kyova olaba my hourly charge for marketing services is 100k kuba nange eri kati bankuba bamusasula abazimbi emitwalo ena nange mumpe ezisingako kuba nze ate nze nasoma ebbanga ddene okusinga ku bazimbi okitegeera. So there is that Subaru in front of us, that's the X20. Then there is the Cross Sport. They are, by the way, they are both good cars. Bobo ogenda gula Subaru, especially togula Subaru ya turbo. You buy a non-turbo Subaru. So if you have a family like mine that is not going to grow, a small car is okay. A small car that is 1.5cc is okay. Even 1.0 might be okay depending on how you drive. Me personally, I'm an aggressive driver, which is why I can never manage a 1.0cc car. I can manage a 1.3cc, but I cannot manage a 1.0cc car. I'm an aggressive driver. So the reason for me buying a bigger engine car has nothing to do with the car being weak. It has everything to do with my method of driving. Okay, my driving style. I'm a very aggressive driver, so it means the 1.0cc engine can actually blow very fast on me. The way I drive will blow the engine. So personally, a car that is valuable to me would have to be 1.3cc. And it will also have to take my family every day, so it will have to be reliable. So reliability, I also look at fuel efficiency, but I don't value space that much, as long as the car can take my things and my people. Which take it. So personally, then I would not need a Wish. I would not need a Spacio that is that has 7 seats, because my family is small. Which take it. Now, if I add my maid, then we are 5 people. 5 people can fit in my Corolla properly. Besides, when I'm taking my family, so if we are going with the maid can sit in front, and we are okay. So personally, I don't need the power that the RAV4 gives me, yet I don't also need the space that the Wish gives me or the Spacio gives me. So under those circumstances, the RAV4 is not as valuable to me as it might be to someone that has a farm. Because the city Sirunda Sinachinetaza ground clearance. Personally, I find that ground clearance is overrated as well. In abantu bebagule morokambu nonya moroka ngina ground clearance, I find that that's also overrated. The moroka yange ya wansi, but I know how to drive it. I've never got problems of like the exhaust having holes. I've never got the problems of like cracking the cranks. I've never got those problems. Why? Because I know how to drive my car. It's low ground clearance. So that car that has a high ground clearance is not valuable to me. Which take you've already gotten the things that I value. Then in Zengo Muntu, I don't value swag. I also don't think that the kind of car I drive influences the kind of business I get. Looking at what business I've done and the kinds of car I've been driving, which again, I find that in my field, it's either the person values the person they are giving the job, as in brand, nti omuntu gwawe omulimu serebu, or they value the brain. And majority of the projects that I've gotten the projects based on the brains, based on what I put in, because there's a project in Engabanguzi. And some of these celebrities bagabenguzi. So you'll find that most of them, the projects are bafuna because of who they are, the kind of work they do. Bafuna projects also based on the amount of bribe they are giving the person in charge of the project. So I find that personally, the car has never been my basis for getting business. So that's why I'm comfortable in my Corolla. It gives me what I need. So my Corolla to me is valuable. I'm obsessed with my Corolla. I seem to be obsessed because the Corolla gives me exactly what I need. It doesn't give me more than what I need. And I don't want to get more than what I need. It gives me the fuel efficiency that I need, gives me the space that I need, gives me the reliability that I need, gives me the maintenance costs that I can manage. Good morning, Ivan from Dubai. Thank you for being here. Worship with Otieno Julius. Good morning, Otieno. Kati yiyo Subaru yiyo ekutuseyo kalabika kazedi. You see this back tire, how it's looking, eh? That's where the problem is. Elabike either ekutuseka kono, because it must be an all-wheel drive. You see, you guys have been telling you don't need all-wheel drive cars. Fakati, the roads in Kampala, as long as it's a front-wheel drive car, it's okay. That Subaru is an all-wheel drive. You need to understand that all-wheel drive equals to high maintenance. All-wheel drive equals to high maintenance. So the sooner you understand that, the better. All-wheel drive is not the same. The Subaru that has all-wheel drive, the maintenance will be much more expensive than the Subaru that has only two wheels. So that's one thing you understand. Kati, you see it's double. Actually, it's double. The Subaru that has two-wheel drive and front-wheel drive, if you use, let's say you use $1 million shillings to maintain that car a year. So if you have an all-wheel drive, double that, you'll be using 2 million. If you use 5 million, double that, you'll be using 10 million. You get, and that's just the cost. So you need to look at yourself and see, what do I need for the car? So that tomaraga gura togura lwakuba mukwano go yagula, togula lwakuba mukwano go yagula, because my friend bought a RAV4, let me also buy a RAV4. Why are you buying the RAV4 in the first place? Yeah, if the reason you're buying the RAV4 is to drive your family of 2 people or 3 people, then you're having a bad buy. The C200, I used to love the C200 because the prestige it gives. My interest in the Crown is also slowly dwindling. The Crown is comfortable, but it's only comfortable when you're sitting in it. The moment you get out of the Crown, then the comfort, the need for comfort diminishes. I think I'm at a level in my life where everything can be comfortable or uncomfortable depending on how I feel. I find that the comfort, after sitting in that Crown, I came back to my Corolla and I realized that my Corolla was also comfortable. Then I realized that the Crown was actually much more comfortable than the Mercedes-Benz, the C-Class that I wanted. Because people keep telling me that it's not as much as comfortable as the S-Class. I never wanted the S-Class personally. I've always wanted that car compressor there, or the C-Class, the old C-Class. And I find that the Crown is much more comfortable than all of them. But even then, I find that the expenditure on fuel is not worth the comfort. It's not worth the price. Some Klugers are 2-wheel drive, some are 4-wheel drive. So we won't know bulungi. And the chiluncha Kluger is a sikira maso. Bakitegeera ebanga RAV4s nazo sikira maso. So value is subjective, because value is subject to who who is talking about value. Nzenganze, I've already told you, an SUV can never be valuable to me because I don't need the ground clearance. A pickup will never be valuable to me because I literally have nothing to lift like 4 times a week. Because one reason you should buy a double cabin is if like 3 days out of your week you have stuff to carry in that car. But if you're like Arthur, the majority of your time you're moving your family and yourself, then a small car like a Corolla will definitely work for you. But then also you have to ask yourself, is the premium price worth it? Your budget Velfire. Hey, it's Alphard. It's still the Alphard. Madam Manu Velfire. It's still the Alphard. I think that's like one of the latest models. Difference of 4-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. Sylvester, I have a video on that. It's a live broadcast. Probably I will redo it later. But I have a video where we discuss just that. We discussed 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, and all-wheel drive. I did it some time back. So I'm not going to try and explain that. I'll give you a chance to go and look for that video. There is a video where we talked about that and what you need, and that's the video where I actually told people you don't need an all-wheel drive car, because where are you going to use all wheels here? Kakati, me, I have 2-wheel drives. That C200 in front of me has 2 wheels, and it has rear wheel drive. So rear wheel drives are problematic. That one is not problematic at this moment. Mine is front wheel drive and 2-wheel drive only. So we are both driving the same car as an all-wheel driver. But you know the separate thing is that an all-wheel drive car is consuming more fuel than all of us. So you have to ask yourself, what is valuable to you? What are you going? You know, value is subject to what you're going to use the car for. Because at the end of the day, guys, I don't know if it's just me, that the moment I get out of the car, it becomes just a car. Even my Corolla, the moment I get out of my Corolla, it becomes just a Corolla. Apart from the fact that actually the Corolla has served me for more than 2 years, and it has served me diligently, 35 kilometers every day. From the time I bought this car, it has never done less than 35 kilometers a day, or on weekends when I have to go to the gym only. But any other day that I have to come to town, the minimum distance I drive is 35k. Which take it. Na Uganda bobongo bukola buti owaboda akuyisa mitaranga byamukutte nolabya emoroka egenda kutomera n'olindo ogamba emoroka muyina empisa embi obobongo bwaffe bukola buti abannange. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, boss. Is there a way you can connect this YouTube channel to your TikTok accounts during live? So yeah, I'm thinking about it, Joshua. I've been thinking about it. It's just that I've been busy. I intended to research that on the weekend and find a way to do it so that I have the broadcast both places. I don't know. I'm going to think about it and see. If it's impossible, then I may have to do different live broadcasts for both. And then the TikTok will be shorter, like 20 minutes. Because this one can go long because I'm driving. You get it? Look at that view. Very nice, right? Good morning, Ivan. We have a very good view here. The skies are almost clear, and then the view. These are 2 Subarus. We have the Forester and then we have Legacy. Buy the Forester. The Forester has better resale time. You sell it faster than the Legacy, because very few people actually want the Legacy. Almost every time someone talks of the Subaru, they either talk about the Forester or the Impreza. They have not had of someone actually ask Subaru Legacy. So it's not about the value. It might actually have resale value, but it may take a long time for people to actually buy it from you. I love manual transmission. I have 2 kids, a maid and my wife. A Corolla is definitely. How about Primo old model but manual? Still good. But if you're looking at resale value as well, okay, resale time, not resale value. because the Moroka manual nayonga mwaginoonyeza nebabula. Like we were looking for a manual RAV4 last time, and it took us some time to get a good one. So manual cars are actually good, but in terms of the time that you take to sell it, when you have a manual car, it might take you a long time to sell it to anyone. You may sell it high price, but you have to be patient. So if you're the kind of person that wants to, when you want to sell and go away, buy an automatic car. But if you're like Arthur, like you're rigid, you can buy a manual one. Subaru, how much does the Forester go for? Forester tanikira enungi tanikira $1,15,000, a good one. I know you can buy a Forester, the older models are 7 million, the other ones, the first ones 7, 8, you get. But if you want a good Forester, you should start at 15 and above. At 15 over the way on Uganda bugambe njagala Forester ne bakulete but njagala cross sports. If you want a Forester at 15 million, then we tell you this is available, or you call brokers and tell them I have 15 million, I want a Forester, and then for them they will tell you what Forester is there. Which take the then also you guys avoid buying 4-wheel drive cars. You see that wish in front of us is a 4-wheel drive. The 4-wheel drive cars, they consume quite a number of fuels, consume a lot of fuel, more than the 2-wheel drive cars. But also maintenance is high. Maintenance for a 4-wheel drive car is double that of a 2-wheel drive. So whenever you can, in that way you should realize that promotion cars, banaba Pepsi, bagaba Airtel, bagaba Moroka, bagaba the you will find that when they give away a Wish, it will be 4-wheel drive. When they give away a Primo, it will be 4-wheel drive. You get it? Why are they giving away 4-wheel drive cars? Because 4-wheel drive cars are cheaper to buy. But you'll find someone buying a 4-wheel drive car at the price of a 2-wheel drive car. 2-wheel drive cars in Uganda have more value than the 4-wheel drive counterparts. I don't know if I make sense. But there are people that still have that mentality that a 4-wheel drive car has more value than a 2-wheel drive. Maybe I'm Moroka is sikira na dara maso. Tewetaga Moroka ya 4-wheel. Tewetaga Moroka ya 4-wheel. Then the only reason you should buy a 4-wheel or all-wheel drive is if it's the only option available. Nego banga all your 2-wheel drive ngesikira maso. Gendo gule 2-wheel drive ngesikira maso. I'm definitely like you, very rigid. If you're rigid, then katinonya money, because the money will save you fuel. By the way, me I find that my car is actually very fuel friendly because it's a manual. When I put the new engine, my brothers, I'll be doing 20 kilometers to 22 per liter, which because it's a manual car. And then with time, njagala jitekamu gearbox ya 6 gears. Then I'll be enjoying. I don't know where I'll be driving the 6th gear from, but at a place like Express, I'll be driving 6 gears. The view is really nice on your end, right? That's a Ractis, that's a newer model. Then this is the first model. Then the overpriced Alex. Good morning, Daniel. Based on your reasoning, then I don't need the RAV4. I have a family of 3. I don't carry anything except my family. I stay in Ginger City. I really drive. You don't need a RAV4. Katewetaga ground clearance. You don't need the ground clearance. It's overrated. You imagine someone that lives in Tinda and works in Kampala in the central business district. Why do they need ground clearance? Of course, I totally understand the reasoning of women. Some women want high cars because they want to see in front. But trust me, a short person will not see in front even when they are driving a RAV4. But that's one of the reasons that women give when they want to buy higher ground clearance cars. But me, I've never found a problem with my Corolla. Atenga nzembeda wala mvuge chikubo chetaka for 7 kilometers every day, morning, evening. So chitegeza mvuge chikubo chetaka for 14 kilometers every day, sometimes more. But I've never had problems of like the exhaust getting problems, of me harming my cranks. I've never had those problems. So value. I know you guys have started knowing how to define value. Right? Some people value brands. Some people value the fact that, oh, I'm driving a new car. So you need to know what is valuable to you versus what is valuable to other people, and why do they carry that value. Because in Zenga Atha, sometimes I find people, like someone comes for me to help them choose a car, and they are saying things that they value, and I find, because that's why sometimes I ask Okura Murimuchi, because then I can help you probably choose better value. So sometimes people value things they should not be valuing. That's a Kia Sonnet. To someone it will be valuable. To me it's not worth the price. Of course it's brand new, you'll find that it's a company car. So someone, if it's a company car, you see it's the Motor Center East Africa, sold and serviced by. Oh, I'm going to go to that website in Barabeko, the Motor Center East Africa. Yeah, so value is subjective. What you value might not be what I value. And what I value might seem like you remember JK said, after leave Nyash alone. Nyash is very important. Okay, Nyash is important. That I cannot deny. Even to me, Nyash is important. Nyash is not something anyone should play with. Nyash is very important. But it should not be more important than the brains. The brains for a woman should be very important. Because a woman that has no brains, amenya. Kaza ataina mageza amenya. Kaza ataina mageza amenya. And trust me, obuta bana magezi doesn't mean that that person is stupid. No. Abatali exposed to the kind of information. Kamani onjagala ngaka project car na ye omwana wo musiramu bumali. After my grand, I will think about over money. Yeah, definitely. Uncle Arthur, do you know anyone dealing in Uganda driven that Sun L200? Movie trucks, 90 models. Uncle Gwenalina Yafa. I need to buy. There is one. What do I call Maganjo? There is that shortcut in Maganjo that goes to Jinja Karoli. There is a guy that has only Lukum Bibidi is there. Abutema no Butema. Mulekera okuvuga nga muri ku simu, kino kigaye ekivuga Kia kiri ku simu. Oba kikazi oba kisajje. Bitana bitutana atategeera na kutegeera. You guys should stop driving while you are on phone. You know, and you're scrolling through TikToks. That's why you guys get a lot of accidents. You should avoid driving while you're on phone. And I find that most people that drive new cars, automatic cars especially, they have that habit, especially women. Avugari ku Instagram bwana baby fananyi. You have left 2 kids at home or at school and you're driving on phone. If you die, ngechobuga gachoyina motoka. Ofa abana ngene motoka joyi badena yonge chobuga gochitomeza. Abana ogenda balekerani kumenya bumenya family na mikwano jo. Oshitegeera. So you guys, especially you women, you have that habit of driving while you are on phone. It's a very bad habit. I tell you guys, you have learned to hide the phone here under the steering rack, under the steering. You hide the phone there, and then the traffic officers cannot see that you're using the mobile phone. You see these guys. Orokuwa bakizo kuita 2 ne baroza ne bino babakirizo beyitamu. Yeah? Rozanze mugwagwa wano atayita mbitala. But anyway, with the massive potholes in Kampala, you need a bit of ground clearance. I have a car with no ground clearance and I have to inconvenience other road users to navigate around potholes. Samuel, I find that the problem is not the car. The problem is your mechanic. You can always raise the car a little. you can always raise the car a little. Like you can put spacers, you can put stronger shock absorbers, you can put bigger springs. You can raise your car a little bit. No banga, you're not, because all these cars, but raising them, that's what the spacers don't do too much, but the little they do is actually very important for you. Yeah, or you can put bigger tires, but there is no use of you buying the car that will cost you probably an arm and a leg to maintain, simply because of ground clearance. But also I find that sometimes when maybe you just need to learn the best way to drive your car, then your car doesn't gain value, it loses value. And so you find someone who simple, your car loses value, doesn't gain value. There are humps that deserve to be beaten. Your car is not going to gain value, it's just going to lose value. Look at that beautiful view for you guys. You guys are getting a very beautiful view. I don't know if I make sense, Okira. Probably that's why I am mistaking your name. I'm calling you Okira. Me, I gave up on Rumion. It's overpriced. Yeah, definitely. Some cars are too just overpriced. Like, what other thing does the Rumion give you apart from the fact that you're driving a Rumion? Tewali, you have to think about it. I totally understand. Kakati mulimu ababede abagendo gamba ata nawe tujeko obwavu. Nze sogera na babede kati boboli mubede. Siri mu kwogera nawe. I'm talking to Ugandan young people that still need to build some car wealth. Katonda funa nnyo sente. Okitegeera nga newa mwe gyova temuli bulungi nnyo. Okitegeera kati ng'olina okuteeka mu math bintu by'ogula. Ground clearance is okay, but then there is this thing of driving a car that is trending, but is it really worth it? Like the Rumion gives you what? Apart from the fact that you're driving a Rumion, nti wo parking abaka gaya inamu ku sente yaguze Rumion ngolumu n'okuba nazo batozirina. Okitegeera. So you have to ask yourself, what more am I getting? Then there are these guys that tell us, Mbu, I'm buying this car because it has horsepower. There is a reason why I don't even care to find time to say those terms that don't help us as Ugandans. Like that car has speed. Where are you going to drive the speed from? You buy an expensive car because it has a turbo, but where are you going to make use of the turbo? You buy an expensive car because it goes from 0 to 60 in 1 minute. Where are you going to use that speed? Where are you going to use that power? Where? Those are questions probably that you need to ask yourselves before you think a car is much more valuable than others. Personally, I know that a normal speed is okay. Like now I'm going 40 kilometers per hour, but I don't even need to go higher because the place I'm going is like 10 it's like 2 kilometers away from here. And even if I went like 60 kilometers per hour, traffic is going to get me down at the what? You see that place? KPC round. I'm going to get traffic there. So still, ne speed neboji dukotia. Even here katoina wodukira speed nkaga. What taxi wuyo kati yagudde mbugwimu. Bayingira buyingizi. So I find that you'll find that there is really nowhere you're going to drive that too much speed that they are overpricing you for. Then you need to ask yourself, you're buying a higher ground clearance car. Which off-road are you going to go? Which place off-road that you're going to go to? Then kakati anga webuza, should I really be buying this car? Wengo ojida. But they can put Bluetooth radios that connect the phone in hands. Yeah, like my car radio, it's cheap. Nakagule mitwaro mukaga. Neka ina screen abana bange barabaka tukuninga ngendeka. Then kind of Bluetooth connectivity, I can talk on phone without looking. Okitegeera, batu amwe bintu just babimanyi. Kati bagenda kumbuza kaleji yake kemitwalo mukaga ka screen wakagula nakagula eyo. You know, when you love cars, you start finding ways to saving. My mechanic was trying to sell to me an expensive radio. Of course, I want it. It will give me a bigger screen. Then there are things that this radio doesn't do that the other radio will do. It doesn't switch off. The radio comes up. The other, it inconveniences me in some way. I'm a nurse. I want to do Uber as my side hustle. With 10 million, which car will you choose? I'm going to still say the same cars I talked about last time. Vista, Vitz. Those are the only cars you can get that will probably do Uber. But the Vitz is the best option. And those cars are the only cars you're going to get that are in good condition. And at 10 million, you may have to repair the air conditioning at 10 million. But the Vista, you can get with the air conditioning working. The Vitz, rare. That Legacy seems to be comfortable. But it's still all-wheel drive. I wouldn't buy all-wheel drive. I don't need all-wheel drive. The kind of fuel consumption that comes with that terrain is not worth it. Mash cool. These guys of buses, they like to ask that they have Wi-Fi in their buses, but you sit there and there is no Wi-Fi. They drive watching Kaima. But nanga abakazi mujja kutomera muleka abana bamwe nga tebalina ba mama batata babwe bawaseba step mother abana bamwe babonebone naye nga kiki you wanted to watch social media. To ask yourself, is it worth it? You can watch social media during your tea breaks, during your lunch breaks. Okitegere. Uraba nange, there are times I need to concentrate and I keep quiet. When I'm driving, I'm not even reading anything. I just keep quiet because I can't talk as I drive. Okitegere. People overprice radios. They don't actually. They don't. You know, when that radio comes, it pays tax, they pay rent, they pay their own tax and what else? And then licenses. You get, and then they pay employees, and then it's not like they sell a radio every day or 10 radios every day. But like me, I bought this radio in 2021. Now you can imagine I buy a radio in 2021 and I've used it up to 2023. I tell that again, I'm going to use it up to 2025. Of course, the cheaper radios, there are things they don't have. Like you may find a radio at 500 in Android. It would be totally worth it because with that radio, then you can even go on the internet. You can watch Netflix and all that. Good morning, JK. Chitez is off-road. I drive Chitez and I have no problem with ground clearance. After truthfully speaking, you have spoken me out of the idea of buying a nice fancy car for now, because the way I have been dying to get the C180 Mercedes Benz, but now I'm thinking otherwise. You can buy your Mercedes Benz if you want. Life is too short. Nzenange crown njajigura, but I have to nyira kuba mubede. Ira bo muna ndaba ngatani sokola life za ngandi mu crown. Ngamanya ne pre-purchase inspection is going to be more expensive. Oromba mfuse mubede namwe. Okitegera. You can buy the C class, but is it worth it? Is it worth it? What kind of business are you going to do with the C180 or the C200? What kind of business are you going to be doing that warrants that you have a luxury car? Because the Mercedes Benz is a luxury car. So, do you really need the luxury? Then you get yourself. I was a TikTok. I was really busy, and I want to do like 10 TikToks before I go in. I want to do like 10 TikToks because I'm a little early. My meeting is at 9, so I have like 20 minutes to do those TikToks. Let me pack and na ige motoka nange nje ulida. Mwe, what mtu abanye motoka nganze na ige motoka. You know, when we are with my mechanic, he tells me for him he's a chauffeur, he drives for comfort. Me, I'm a transporter. I drive to get to the destination, but I'm skilled as a transporter. Never do atuka na inga avuganga transporter. Chabera anvuma buli kiseera nguvuga bubiri. Mwanze ndi transporter siri chauffeur. Ba chauffeur be babera ne bakama babwe. Transporter oba mukama wange naye nga nze nkutegeerera olumu tomanyi na gyolaga. It's back. But if you are a cheater, I don't recommend Bluetooth radio. Your side chick will call you. You will. I know. A Bluetooth radio is fair, very faithful. Anti-safety matters. This singer cheating. Morning, Arthur. Naye, how is the best way to learn Ugandan roads? the way you are turning. I think you just drive on self-drive the car yourself. No, the way okay. I think as long as you drive on the roads, you drive on the roads. Oziga. Uber is good as long as you self-drive the car yourself. I think Uber is something that someone should not go into thinking they're going to make money. But I saw the interview of someone that was saying that akola emitwalo 5 amagoba olunaku. Kati omuntu avuga 24/7 kale katugambe omuntu avuga 12 hours a day waba akola emitwalo 5. Kati go omuntu agenda okola part time osubira kola sente meka. I'm just making sure you know. Wachitegeera morning Arthur, my friends travels 100 kilometers daily to and from work. This is for 3 days a week. Can a VITS 1.3 manage such work? Please advise on the best fuel friendly option. The VITS can handle. The VITS can handle. The VITS can handle. It's okay. There's VITS, there's Alex, there's IST. Of course, some of those are overpriced. I'm just saying them, or the Megamant SARS or the Kojidion or the Megamant in the Walana. There's Aris, which take it, and now those are 1.5. Lactis, all those cars can manage 100 kilometers. Can start off with such a mama, no Vugabubi. Which take it. Kubango is 100 kilometers or in an hour. A Kampala one, it's impossible. Nadarango Jamu Chibuga, and they've got 35, but I drive for 1 hour and a half or 2 hours. Of course, I have to drop my kids to school and all that. But Tosola Vuga 100 kilometers in an hour. Okujango Vuga highway. Morning, Nathan. But I have to go. Let me just go through the names. So you can go through and see the scheduled videos. This week we are doing comparisons for us to try and understand. Today we have done value versus overpricing. Yeah. Abby, Martha, Chris Da Vinci, Hanifa, Setuba Henry, Atumanya Rupert, Sonko Med, Asiku Patrick, Council Wafe. If you're in the eastern region, we have our lawyer there. Wamuita Council Asiku Patrick, he can help you. Joshua Mbabazi, Sonko Med, Uyonga Marvin, Edwin Mugerwa, Joshua Mutabazi, Gideon or IST, Baguma Antonio, Gaetano, Ivan, Sylvester, Mugume, Sarah Feva, Uncle Salmina the farmer, Otieno Julius, Daniel, Okira Samuel, Sarah Feva, Michael Luzinda. What is the meaning of engine eating oil? I hear it all the time. That's when the oil reduces. The moment you check your engine oil levels today, and it's at a certain level, you drive, and then tomorrow you check and the oil is different, then that means it consumes oil. Ivan, JK, Caesar Rashid, Iragaba Habad, Medi Mutima, and Ivan Mwezi. Thank you very much for being part of this broadcast. I don't take you for granted. Don't forget, I do pre-purchase inspection. I come with a mechanic and we make sure you get a good deal, a good car at a good price, and make sure to go to Morukanzibe. I also sell car tracking devices and car alarms. I'll see you tomorrow in the morning, 7:15 a.m. Ciao.